Listen, stress is your friend. It's not your enemy, and I can prove it. Stay and listen to this, and I need you to really listen. And if you can't, pause and come back later. I'm going to show you the benefits of it, and those that have had chronic stress in their lives, I'm going to give you some solutions. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Nurse Kathleen, and I know you're wondering, how can stress be my friend? Well, I'm going to prove it to you. I've been a nurse for almost 30 years, also a holistic practitioner part of that time, and a licensed massage therapist. And I've always said, stress kills. You know, on death certificates, they should put stress because it causes hypertension and so many other diseases I won't go into at this point, but actually stress is our friend. So I want to do a little exercise. So get ready. Are you ready? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to count backwards. We're going to take the number 197, you can write that down, and subtract 8 from it. And so we're going to continue to do that until we hit 0. Okay, start at 197, subtract 8 from it, keep going until you hit 0. Okay, ready, go. Hurry up. Come on. You're not fast enough. Okay, stop. Just stop. Okay, that guy over there, you got it wrong, so we're going to have to start all over. Now that could be stressful, right? Your heart starts pounding, you can feel your blood pressure go up, you start sweating, you're sweating under your arms, and you're having a stress response, and that's normal. But let me tell you why it's good for you and the benefits of it. Okay, so let's look at stress itself. Whether we have a healthy, normal perception of stress or how we react to it, or if we have a negative perspective of it, that's key. So it really starts in the mind, and it actually does, because when we have stress, what happens is there's chemicals that are released. Now we all know about adrenaline, that fight or flight. It's healthy at times, but if it continues or it's an unhealthy type of perception of it, and that can cause us harm. If it's healthy, we're going to release the amount of adrenaline that we need, and then when the thing that's causing the stress is over, then we recover from it. But if it's not, then it becomes a problem. But the other main chemical that people don't think about is oxytocin is also released. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about oxytocin because it's very, very important in the stress response, and it also is one of the benefits of stress. So oxytocin has been shown to increase our socialization. So that's what causes us when we are having stress to reach out to others, to get support, to get help, or to do that for others when they're going through it. And that helps keep it from being bottled up inside, because keeping things inside and holding them in is really detrimental to our health. It really is. So it does that, along with it increasing our desire for close relationships with friends and family. It increases our empathy. It actually protects our cardiovascular system, and there's a lot of studies done on that. It increases our immunity, so our immune systems get stronger. It helps with obesity. Now, I know there's people out there that say, you know, I'm a stressful eater. I haven't been that way, but a lot of times it's because of the way they perceive the stress, and so they eat. So if it's a good perception of it, then we don't need that food to fulfill the need that we have when we're under stress. Also with anti-aging, it decreases muscle tension and joint pain, and it does that through the inflammatory response. So it's more of anti-inflammatory, because once it's inflamed, then therefore you have pain. Harvard did a study in late 2023, and they proved that, so you start to go into that stress response and you release oxytocin. Well, what happens, it actually starts decreasing your stress, and it promotes trust, relaxation, and mental health stability. Stress is also like a workout for our brain. It produces resilience. And those of us that have had a lot of stress in our lives know that once we go through these things, and we go through them over and over and over again, and we come out the other side, it allows us to trust that we're able to have these trials and these challenges, and that we're able to overcome them. So when the next stressor comes, and they're always going to be coming, you're not going to have it unless you're not breathing. But it's, like I said, it's our perception, how we react to it. So we can look back and go, we got through that. We're going to be able to get through this. Going through something with a family member now that had some tests done. We thought it was going to be corrected, and now they have to have a surgery. It's not an amputation, so that's good news, but there's still stress involved in it. So have to look at the positive sides of it, and have a plan. That's another thing, is to have a plan. So stress makes us resilient, and then we can trust ourselves more each time it happens. And like I said before, the other thing, because it causes us to be social, that we know we don't have to go at it alone. I mean, so many people are suffering, and some are suffering alone. And I think it's really starts in the mind, because the body's response, it's going to do what it's going to do. So how we think about it, how we feel about it, how we react to it, based on our beliefs, based on our thoughts, the body's going to follow what the mind tells it. It's just the way it is, it's just the way that we were made. So, you can do this. You don't have to do it alone. It's actually your friend. It is not your enemy. Now, chronic stress, over and over, chronic, I don't want to say good or bad perception, but negative perception or perspective of it, really can cause more harm. And I want to say something else about the immune system. So when I say it strengthens it, so short-term stress actually releases a certain type of proteins in our body, and it helps us fight infections. So it's kind of like a natural vaccine, so to speak. And so our body starts producing those, and allows us to boost our immune system. The other thing is that it provides growth for us. We look at our strengths. It might show us some of our weaknesses, and we can work on those, but it shows us how, back to resilience, how strong and how we can overcome things, and obviously helping others. I know that when I help others, I always feel better. If I'm just stuck in myself and my, stuff, I don't feel as well as when I'm helping someone else. When I'm helping someone else, I feel really good, and, I'm hoping that this will help you as well. And now I'm going to get into some of the things that you may not have thought of in ways to help manage and recover from stress a little bit quicker. One thing I want to say, and I've heard it said before, is that chasing things that mean something to us in our lives, chasing those things, it's healthier for us to do that than trying to use up all the energy that we have to avoid the discomfort of it, the discomfort of growing. So there is a video that I did, And in that video, and it talks about the channel and my vision for it for this year, there's a book that I'm doing for giveaway, and the drawing is going to be on the 29th. And it really does get into the mental aspect of, our beliefs, our thoughts, and everything on illness and disease and health. And based on how we think and how we believe, it really makes us sick. So here's some ways to deal with stress. And I'm going to tell you the most simple of them all: gum chewing. So when we chew, it actually increases blood flow to the brain and increases our production of serotonin. And so chewing gum is one of the easiest things that we could do to help with that. Another thing, it's a Japanese practice, and it's called forest bathing. Basically getting out in nature. Now, if you can get out into a forest, that's better. But say there's some woods or nature trails, go out and just walking in that and being in nature helps with our mindset, our perspective. I know that I do this a lot. It has to do with brainwave frequencies. And you might have seen the commercial where it shows coming over the mountains, and there's this little city down there, and it's in the snow, and they were talking about, stop and listen for 30 seconds, and they're playing a certain type of sound. I believe they call it green waves, but it says, if this comforts you, and helps with your anxiety, then, this is what you need to listen to. I know that there are things on people's phones or whatever you can listen to called lifescapes. And there are also things with different sounds. When I was in massage school, we all formed a circle and our heads were facing, the circle, and in the middle of it was a person that had different types of bowls, and they go around the bowls and they'd have different frequencies. Different vibrational energy. And I do know that some of the sounds really irritated me. And I don't know if that was an area that needed to be healed. It was hitting on something. And some of the sounds were so soothing. So you have to find what works for you, because we're all different. They can say, well, certain tones, will relax you. Well, certain tones won't. So you have to figure out what that is for you. Also, in that is light therapy. Light therapy is very beneficial. There's something else they talk about. It's sensory deprivation tank. So you go into this, and they have them places. You go into this tank of it's like salt water, and you float in it, and it's dark and it's quiet, and that's supposed to help. Now, for me, being in a room closed, dark, quiet, floating would not work so well. I would rather be in a spring, and maybe, I'd like to hear some of the sounds of nature. That's very soothing. Being in an Epsom salt bath. If you need to drown out the sounds, you can always put on some headphones. The other thing is floating in a pool. Depends on if it's more of a natural pool or if it's got chlorine in it. So there's things with chlorine. Some people would float in the ocean, but I know people are kind of skeptical about ocean with everything that's going on there. But basically, being in water, unless you have a fear of water, and just relaxing and listening to the frequency sounds that you enjoy is very beneficial. Another thing you can do, and they've proven this, is like being in a hammock. So why a hammock? Well, the motion of a hammock, it kind of rocks, back and forth. So in our minds, we relate that to when we were held and cuddled, right? So swinging in a hammock. And if you've ever done it, I love it. It's end up going to sleep, actually. So that's something, that back and forth motion and being supported by the hammock brings back, if you have good memories of that, or no memory at all, but it doesn't cause you any discomfort doing it, then that would be a great thing to do. Another thing that a lot of us know of. And if you look over here, I have essential oils going. That's lavender that I have right now, but there are oils that actually help, calm down the central nervous system. Chamomile, lavender, clary sage. There are some types of clary sage that actually irritate me, so I can do sometimes muscle testing or something like that. Those calming essential oils. And I will say this, and I know this because I've done it for 15 years. Aromatherapy, so breathing in, especially for any mental health, psychological, whatever challenge someone has at the time, whether it's anxiety, depression, fear, they need to be consoled. There's a loss, whether it's the loss of an animal, job, whatever, is aromatherapy. And it works. I lost my brother. I had a renewing of my mind. I was out of work and on disability for 6 months. I was also being abused at the job that I was at. And, went to the ER, doubled over in pain, all these symptoms. And of course, they said it was more like a PTSD, a stress. And maybe you've had the same thing. And of course, for my gut, because I lost probably 20 pounds, I did bone broth. I was doing pretty much liquids was all I could do at the time. And there's an oil that I use called Console. And you actually, if I put it on my skin, because you can't take this one internally, but there are oils you can if you know somebody that knows what they're doing, and I do. Need help with that, reach out to me. I put a carrier oil, like you can use extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, whatever, a couple drops, and then a drop of the Console, and I actually rub it over my heart and rub it over that area. It works. I also diffuse it. It works. It works. That's all. I keep it at all times in a backup bottle. So you can do lavender, you can do chamomile, you can do clary sage, things that relax you. I wouldn't do stimulating oils because what you're trying to do is relax and calm down and recover. And something else you can do, and it's I've done it because I bought one, coloring books, right? So I started coloring, and I don't want to pick things that are too hard because, you don't want anything difficult. I got some good, colored pencils. Is that upside down? Okay, you gotta laugh sometime, right? This is real. I'm not even gonna edit it out, but that helps. Massage therapy is very good. And I know because I'm a massage therapist and I've seen people melt on the table. Also, some have, an emotional release and they may cry or curse or say words. And I just be present with them and let them go through that process and feel it and let it pass through. I can tell you, I learned from my acupuncturist and also other people that when it starts to happen and we feel the heart pounding and our breath increases and we start sweating, trying to fight it, trying to hold it back, it takes so much energy and it's not healthy for us. We need to let the body do what the body's going to do because it's going to help us and it's going to benefit us. And we need to let that feeling or that thought or whatever pass through. It was told to me once, it's like a car. You see a car driving down the road. Do you go stand out in front of that car and try to stop that car? Number one, it would cause harm, and it does cause harm to us. And the other thing is that the amount of strength it would take to hold it back, you just can't do it. So when that thought comes, and they're going to come, especially when we are experiencing things that make us feel stressed based on our perception, let it pass by. Okay, there it goes. Let it pass by. Let it pass through. Let the feelings, let your body do what it needs to do because that's part of healing. Another thing you might have heard before, laughter is the best medicine. And of course, we all know eating right, getting plenty of sleep, drinking good water, listening to music that you love. I'll tell you something's really beneficial for me is animals. So playing with your dog or cat or horse or donkey or whatever you have can be very calming. Also, another thing you can do is if you have someone you can go take walks with, talk to, cook with, having that socialization, which is what the oxytocin produces in us. It's the love hormone, and it doesn't have to be intimacy in that sense, but intimacy it is. It really does help, and isolation is not something that you want to do. So what we need to do is allow the body to go through what it's going to go through and not to fight it because it's exhausting. Let the body recover. Try these different things, these different ways to deal with stress, because we all have it. It's never going away. But as we deal with it and as we get through it, we have more resilience. We have a better immune system. It helps protect our cardiovascular system. All those things that I had said, it's been proven. It's been proven in studies by people that you wouldn't think would say that it's good, like medical institutions or universities, but it is beneficial. It is our friend. We don't want to be in chronic stress where we're stressed all the time. If there's a situation that you're in that you need to get out of, or you need somebody to talk to, please reach out to someone, because there is help out there. People want to help. Life is not easy. It is not easy. But you know what? We have plenty of hope. We have each other. There's plenty of resources out there. And just remember that it's your friend. It's not your enemy. But also remember, the book that I'm offering the free giveaway on the 29th is in this video right here. And it's not a long video. It's just, like I said, the vision of my channel. And you have a chance to win. All right. Well, God bless everyone. Be safe. Take care of yourself. And don't be afraid or apprehensive to reach out and to talk to somebody. But again, let it go through. Don't fight it. All right. This is Nurse Kathleen. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye.